I don't have a bell, so we're back to the gavel. All right, we're gonna start the meeting. Today is, today is June 16th. It's a regular common council meeting. Our city clerk is going to be leaving with my daughter because she's getting her award. So, council member Lepari Shu is going to be calling rolls for us and taking some notes for us, along with our city administrator. So, it's going to be a little bit different of a meeting here. And Dave, I need you to be on your toes tonight.
I need to be short tonight.
Excellent. All right. So, Councilmember Lepari Shu, would you please call the roll?
I would love to. Mayor Daniel Butterman is not here. Councilmember Aline Motion-Campoli.
Here.
Councilmember Cecilia Walsh-Rousseau.
Here.
Councilmember Shannon McHugh.
Here.
Councilmember Katie Lepari Shu. Hello. Councilmember Len Carson.
Here.
Acting Mayor Scott Harrington.
Here.
Councilmember Carolyn Marks.
Here.
Councilmember John Matheson.
Here.
You all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We do have a presentation tonight by our city staff. It's going to be about transforming a Market Street. And I believe Lee Payman's going to be taking the lead on this.
Okay. Well, this works. So we thought it'd be fun now that the DRI is wrapped up and almost wrapped up, but pretty much. And the Market Street project is almost wrapped up as well, that we would take you back to the beginning and take another look at how the project got to where it is right now. So we applied. I wasn't here at the time that we applied. I came in October 2016 after we were awarded, but in May of 2016, the council that was in office at the time decided to submit for the $10 million DRI program. That was the very first one that the state put out, and they submitted in May 2016. And by some miracle, that grant was awarded 2 months later in July of 2016. So the Authentically Oneana document is actually the application that was submitted. These have been on my desk since I started. And it's kind of interesting. Some of what they wanted to do got done. The main theme got finished though, which was transforming Market Street. So once the funding was awarded, the city got to work with a task force that created the strategic investment plan. And this was a list of projects that the city wanted to complete. And that was submitted to the state in March 2017. That book, again, it's been on my desk for 10 years. That includes a complete list of a ton of different projects that the city wanted to complete. That got submitted to the state, and the state came back and actually at the time it was Lieutenant Governor Hochul, came back to Foothills and awarded this list of projects, which pretty much got completed. There were a few changes, like the Westcott lot got awarded $1.47 million. That ended up getting put into the Carney's project at the Deep Street Lofts. And pretty much everything else was completed. So the transit hub, the parking garage got torn down, and what you see on Market Street was completed. So that was, those awards were made, the actual projects were awarded in May of 2017, and then we started working on conceptual planning in 2017. So this was one of the concepts for the original transit center at the back side of the parking garage. That was included in this strategic investment plan. And then from there were many changes, many meetings. This was in our basement conference room with our immersion that we did with our consultant, Wendell, back in March of 2019. Some of us haven't changed a bit, some have, some aren't here anymore, but this was an ongoing series of meetings. This actually was a 3-day immersion, and then from there, they developed plans, and it was a multi-year process of coming up with the current approach that ended up getting built. This is the Wendell team in their office working. These are some of the concepts that were created between 2020 and 2023. We went from looking at having the transit center attached to the parking garage, to having it at the 27 Market Street lot, to having it attached to the Chestnut Street extension side of the parking garage. And then in the corner there is pretty much the plan that we landed on and that we built. Here are some before and afters, which I think are always fun, before, during, and after, actually. So here's the parking garage as it was, and here are some views of the parking garage being demolished. The one picture on the lower right was taken in the Springbrook building out of the apartments looking down over Market Street. So it's a pretty interesting view of what Water Street, what Water Street looked like. There's Water Street Extension still in place. Here are some concepts of what Water Street would look like. The one on the left still has the overhead walkway, which ultimately was determined that it didn't make sense to have that. So the second one on the right is more or less what we built right now. And we will have that lighting in this summer. And then here's more views of Water Street under construction. Water Street before on the left, so we have the ramp going up into the parking garage and the parking garage there. This is what the street looked like before. Then there's in the center is during construction, and then on the right is what it looks like today. So pretty vast improvement. Here's the interior walkway, what it looked like before on the top. Those pictures look really good from what I remember it looking like. But anyway, those are pictures I found that it did look like that at one point. The bottom pictures are the concepts that Springbrook had at the time that they did their design, and then when they finished design and ended up doing the construction on the right is what it looks like today. So that's the elevator, which was not there prior, and that gave us the ADA accessibility between Water Street and Main Street. And DRI paid for that walkway and elevator. Here's a concept of what the transit hub would look like on the left from 2024, and there's your actual from 2026. It always amazes me how renderings are so close to what you end up with a good design. So. And again, this is the corner of Market and Chestnut Street Extension with the old parking garage, and then the same corner looking down towards the new transit hub. Huge change, we think. And our signs, so the branding and marketing was part of our DRI, resulted in this concept in the planning for the branding and marketing. It wasn't necessarily that this sign would be located at the transit hub, but this was a concept to have a sign that people could sit on, take pictures in front of, enjoy, and really brighten up some space in Oneonta, and we ended up getting it in this design and keeping it in there. And there it is, with answers on the top up there. So we got, they wanted me to get up there, that's Dave and Greg, and I was like, I saw you guys trying to clamber up there, I'm not getting up there. And then this is the aerial view of the Market Street and the 27 Market Street and the parking garage. alongside our concept of what it was going to look like. And at some point, we are going to get up on foothills or get a drone up there and get this today. I don't have what it looks like today, but it's pretty much what the concept looks like. And then this is on Market Street, looking up towards, east or west towards the transit hub. The left is the concept design, and on the right is what it actually looks like. And then some before and after pictures of the other end of Market Street, looking down. So if you notice it's kind of hard to see it, but Green Earth is pre-deck. The deck was paid for with the downtown improvement funds with the DRI. On the right is the current picture. And so it shows the deck, it shows the new awnings on Green Earth. The other buildings along there, Spalding buildings and the Table Rock building, got some renovations on their facade as well. And then the picture on the lower left is the concept for what the street would actually look like. And it came out pretty close. And then again, this is 27 Market Street. On the left top is what it looked like. On actually the two top pictures is pre-construction, what it used to be, and then on the lower left is during construction or during demo, and then right now it's the temporary parking lot. So some numbers. The total project budget for the Market Street overall project was $23.1 million. Of that, DRI paid about $5.1 million. And we were able to obtain other grants and the city match, which is in the form of the bond, for another $18 million. The smaller numbers are Transit Hub and Steer Tower were about $12 million. Market Street was about $6 million. Parking garage demo, $2.5 million. Parking lot, $1.3 million. And the Water Street was $1 million, for the total of $23.1 million. We thought this was really exciting. The DOT FTA funding started at $3.5 million when this project started. And throughout the project, thanks to Ginny and Dave Hoteling, we were able to secure a total of $11.7 million from DOT and FTA. And that's amazing to get those kinds of numbers in addition to the DRI. So that's striking, and it was worth having it out as a standout here in this presentation. That doesn't happen often. This one's a little hard to see, but the gist of it, if you want to see the details, I think Carrie's going to post this somewhere and we can get you the details of this. This basically is what the DRI was spent on, the $10 million in categories, and then at the bottom it shows that the $10 million, one of the requirements of the DRI was that it would not only transform areas of the city, but that it would also generate more investment in the city. And so as a result of the DRI, and I'll show it to you this way, it's a little easier to show, the $10 million, another $49.8 million in investments, in private investments, other grants, plus the city match, for a total impact of nearly $60 million from that original $10 million. That is for every dollar of DRI funding, that is $5.98 million, or $5.98 total downtown investment. For every dollar, there was a total of almost $6 invested in the downtown as a result of the DRI. And it hit all the goals for the DRI program with the state, and it obviously transformed the city and the downtown. This I wanted to show you because if you hit these QR codes on these maps, these are interactive maps that Mo, our Maureen Seymour, created for us. So this one is the DRI map. It's a layer in the other map I'll show you next. If you click on this on your phone or on your computer, you can then click on all of these dots, and it will show you the grant amounts and the locations of the DRI funding that went out to the businesses in the city. And then this next map, and again, that prior one was a layer. This one shows all of the funding since 2016, and that's because that's when I started, so those are the numbers I have available to me easily. This is all the funding, including the DRI funding, but it's also our housing grants, and we did those by ward, so we didn't pick out individual houses. And also all of our business grants that were given out through the micro, through our small business economic development, and the DRI. So there's all kinds of layers on this map. You can click for the housing grants, you can click for the business grants, and you can click right down to the actual property that was awarded the grants with the grant amount. So it's a cool little story map, and we thought it would be really great to share, and you guys can see that, and we'll continue to build that. We want to get our infrastructure grants and all kinds of other investments that have been made in the city on maps like this. So this is our ribbon cutting day. We wanted to include that. So on April 28th, we had the ribbon cutting at the Transit Center. We had the state representatives there, and the state did statewide press. So we didn't have to do a ton of our own because they covered the state. We had the mayor, we had the Secretary of State, Assistant Commissioner from DOT, and the regional director from the Empire State Development all spoke. Short, they were very short, which is awesome, but very pointed. They were very, very happy to see the projects and to see what we've accomplished. And I just want to mention Allison there in the pink on the right. She's head of the region here, and when this project first started, she was the assistant regional director, and she was here monthly for years, meeting on this project with us and with the other funding agencies. So she was heavily involved in this project almost, well, as long or longer than me and the rest of our team here. Here's a ribbon cutting, and more ribbon cutting. Our folks at the event, we had a really good turnout. We had quite a bit of press. More pictures of our city team. Music, and when you see the picnic tables and the tents, the tent right there in the background in the center picture, that's the one that we were able to get through the downtown branding and marketing funding through the DRI, and then the other tent and the tables and chairs were all part of our event trailer that was paid for with DRI funding as well. Here's some press that Greg and David had with Channel 12. I had to show our parking lot. That was during the event, by the way. There's our tables and chairs. There's our crowd. Their buses were coming in during the event, so everybody got to see how the transit center actually was working in real time. Here's our crew in and around on and around the sign. And the state called it mission complete. And that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any questions for Judy, any comments? Well, thank you for the presentation. And I'm happy to say that I did not dent the sign when I got up on top of it, nor did I fall off of it. So, yes.
Judy, I'm sorry, where did you say we were going to be able to find an interactive link?
We have it as a QR code, so I can get it to you if you want me to just email it to you. And I'm not sure where Carrie's gonna put the presentation from them.
On the website somewhere, exactly where, you can send the link on the website, and then once you open the presentation, you can use your phone to scan the QR code.
Anything else?
No, it's impressive.
Thank you, Judy, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you to our city staff, everybody that was involved in it, a lot of long work, long hours, appreciate it. Mayor's remarks. The only thing I have, because Dan didn't send anything up that he wanted me to say, was I just want to thank the people that went out and worked the watch party. It was great. and Carrie and our OPD chief was there, and our police department, and I went to the first one, and it was so well received that, and Len was right there with me, and Greg, and we were kind of just standing there, and all of a sudden they wanted the Knicks game, so it was nice that we could throw that together, so thank you to everyone for being able to do that. So that was a nice time. Public hearings, we don't have any scheduled. Yes.
This was on my desk, and it's from the mayor. Maybe you want to read it? It's a proclamation.
Nope, that's going, you're supposed to hand that, I believe, to Dan for actually on the 19th.
Oh, okay. I didn't know why I had it here.
I believe, I will double check that.
I will give it to him then.
Okay. I don't think I'm supposed to read it. I was told I was not supposed to have to read anything tonight, so.
Okay. Well, I'll give it to Dan on the 19th.
Okay. Petitioners, first opportunity. Would anybody like to speak? Yes, sir. Can you just tell us your name and how you're related to the city? And you got about 3 minutes.
Sure thing. I'm Derek Bloomfield. I own the building where 180 Main Street is. That's Tino's Pizzeria. Now, the reason I'm here, it has to do with the dumpsters, and I see that's going to be discussed at the council roundtable, the 27 Market Street trash lease. Now, my understanding is as things are scheduled, those dumpsters are set to disappear on July 1st. Now, that's coming up pretty quick, so I think this might be the last opportunity to actually pass a motion and vote to keep those dumpsters in place. And I would very much advocate that, please. The reason is that I know for sure that Tino's Pizza takes at least 4 or 5 large carts to those dumpsters every day, in addition to daily trash collection service every morning from Logan's Trucking. So he's doing both. So the issue is there's no pickup on Fridays and Saturdays, or Saturdays and Sundays by Casella's or Logan's. So without the dumpsters, there would be a large accumulation of trash at the weekends, which I think would certainly be a problem. And that's just one restaurant, so you also have a number of others on Main Street using those dumpsters. So I spoke to Mrs. Logan from Logan's Trucking, and she just enlightened me that both Logan's and Casella's make money hand over fist from their dumpster customers down there. So she would happily be the counterparty to a lease that little patch of, that little corner, build fund and enclosure, whatever y'all would like to see there, and keep the business going. I understand there might be some reluctance somehow for one of the trash carriers to be the counterparty to the lease. If that's the case, I would happily volunteer to be the counterparty to a lease for that little piece of land, and then just deal with the Casella's and Logan's on my own to just have them continue their business there, because I think it's essential for the Main Street businesses. And again, without it, I think we would have a really, really, really bad situation of trash bins all over the place, overflowing on Main Street and on Water Street out back. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, now we'll close that first opportunity. There's a second opportunity that will come up. Correspondence, you did receive the email from Brian. Sorry, Brian. It was sent to us in regards to trash.
And I have one to read. I need to do it now or at the round table. It's regarding 27 Market Street.
Go ahead and read it into the record now.
This is from Dan Marino, who is the owner of Tino's business. He sent it to me late this afternoon and asked me to read it. Council members, after chatting with Len this afternoon, it seems as though Casella doesn't seem interested in leasing the space holding the dumpsters. Given the number of customers currently utilizing the dumpsters, I would imagine it would be worthy venture for Logan's Trucking. Sean has a local family-owned business and currently handles our daily storefront pickup at Tino's Pizza. In addition, our landlord, Derek Bloomfield, bears the cost of our portion of the dumpster usage and deals with Logan's for that service as well. If a lease can be negotiated with Sean, it is possible that previous Casella customers could deal with Logan's in the same space that they currently use. This plan could serve as a temporary solution to the potential problems that I have outlined in the previous grievances. Should the council members still wish to have a business and building owners involved in leasing the space, I'd be open to being involved, but it is certainly not my first option for the following reasons. There will be a large number of people using the dumpsters and therefore all needing separate bills. Each person utilizing the space will need their own keys or code to assess the proposed enclosure. It should be less work for the city to deal with one rather than few or many leases. Given the amount of legwork it will take to maneuver all of the moving parts, a garbage company that is accustomed to collecting monthly fees and paying bills is better suited than me to take the lead on this issue. Under this scenario, there would only be one contact person for the city, which would simplify the entire process from setup to day-to-day operations. Logan's can pass on the cost of the lease and the legwork to the customers accordingly. Basic plan going forward could look like 18 to 24-month lease with Logan's striking for the space holding the dumpsters at $250 per month. Some combination of Logan's and their customers cover the cost of the enclosure for the lot. City agrees to withhold a few months of rent upfront to help offset costs of enclosure. Specifics be negotiated with Logan's Trucking. If anyone has a question for me or would like for me to be involved in any way, in any way to help this process along, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. He gives his cell phone number, and then thank you for your time and consideration, Dan Marino.
Would you be able to send that to the council and city clerk and over to Greg, please? Okay. So it's correspondence, city administrators report.
I stand here.
You can take a seat right there too if you want.
So I also had some notes on the special events we had on Water Street this weekend. I thought it was really a perfect inaugural event, or what turned into events. It really matched up well with what we envisioned for the street years ago, as Judy was describing. Removing the through traffic and making it very easy for the street to be closed off for these kinds of events, I think can really go along with the future of the street. I just had a few notes here. I think we conservatively had 100 or more fans throughout each of those events. I think maybe a little bit better attended the second night as more people got wind of it. We had the adjacent businesses serving alcohol as they normally do within their establishments. People could bring that outside, leave to-go cups. There weren't any major issues that I was aware of or saw. I was there both nights. DPW Planning Development staff, Jeff Doyle, who's our downtown events coordinator, the owners of those two establishments, Black Oak and Sip and Sale, all assisted with coordination, logistics, OBD, as Scott mentioned, maintained a presence. We'll talk tonight, or hopefully vote tonight, to approve security guards as a part-time position for the city, working under the police department, which in the future could be hired to help out at events like these. Our events trailer, as Judy had mentioned, was really convenient for quick and easy setup and tear down of the event equipment. And again, the design, I think, really worked out well. It's very easy to open and close that street. Special thanks go to Carrie Harrington and also Addison, who I wish still was here, but she helped out both nights and had a great time too. And I thought the thing that struck me was, I don't know, Len, anyone who's probably been around Water Street a lot in the past, during your career, if you had ever noticed that diverse age range of people hanging out on Water Street. It's really a different vibe than I think has typically been there, and I thought that was pretty cool. As we mentioned or posted maybe about an hour ago, we're not going to be able to hold another event this Friday for the U.S. game, because it's at 3 p.m. and the sun's going to be out, and our projector is not going to be able to show a game in that situation. So we would encourage people to go to other establishments that are showing the games. You can have a great time there, and then come back to Water Street next Thursday night, 10 p.m. The U.S. will play Turkey at 10 p.m., so we'll be showing that one. In the future, as we go forward, we'll see how the U.S. does. If we want to talk about having additional events, we can look at potentially renting an LED wall for those daytime events. We have somebody who can advise us on what we would need for that. And certainly that might be something we want to invest in if we want to have another watch party, because those games are going to start earlier in the day, and we're not going to use our projector. So we might talk about that as we go forward. Capital improvement projects. This first one came from the Finance and HR Committee discussion. We have a number of capital projects being closed out, so when the council establishes a capital project, commits funds to that from a certain source, when that capital project's finished and there are funds remaining in that project, council makes a motion to put it back where they came from typically, or potentially another source or location. Just making a note here that in the future, when we have a capital project creation motion, we're going to include language in there so that if there are any funds left over, they go right back to the source that they came from without another council motion. So we have some case of $82 or $6,000, whatever the project may be, a water main replacement or a street project, just to simplify things. So when that happens, I'll just report on that going forward. Market Street transportation improvements. The Wall Street wall coating has been completed. I know the Public Arts Commission is in the middle of their process to select a muralist for that. Hopefully we'll see that happening sooner than later. The DPW streets crew topsoiled and seeded the area next to the stair tower. And the delivery of the decorative light poles is frustratingly continued to be delayed by the manufacturer. It's out of the control of our contractor as well as the city, but last we heard shipping in August. Washington Street water and sewer main replacement. That sewer main work is complete, or nearly complete. Water main will follow that. In another couple of weeks, we should see that portion of that project finished up. Russian yard waste, we've talked about that. Postcards will be mailed the next couple of weeks to all city residents, the owners of the properties, as well as any designated local agents for landlords that are out of town, including a QR code linking to the program rules and schedules, so anyone could put this on their fridge if they want to, save it for later, and easily look up the schedule. Our goal is, of course, compliance. We want people to follow the schedule so we don't have bags sitting out for weeks on end between monthly pickups. We're not intending to pursue enforcement and issuing tickets to the code office at this time, but we've discussed with the Quality of Life and Infrastructure Committee. We'll keep coming back, reporting on the numbers, and see if what type of issue we have, and that's an avenue we would like to take in the future. But ultimately, we're looking to try to get people organized so we can be most efficient with our limited resources. Environmental. So urban forest management, DPW has 6 to 8 maybe volunteers so far signed up for tree watering. I think it's a nice program that we put together. We could certainly use more. There are 30 plus trees, maybe closer to 50, that we'll need watering for 2 years at a time. And so we've got some people who will take 1 tree, a couple others have found someone who picked up 6, but we could certainly use more. Feel free to post that on your websites or your Facebook pages and let people know. We're also coordinating with our arborist, Steve Noblano, regarding hazardous tree assessments for another bid to be going out this fall for tree removals. Tyler Technology financial system will go live at the end of June into the first week of July, and that will take about a week. And during that time, we won't be able to access our current system or soon-to-be former system, KBS, to issue new purchase orders and requisitions. So Janie's communicated with department heads. We're going to plan for that, and we'll have to just make sure no one is saving anything for the last minute that week and get a minute ahead of time. So we've got a system to make sure that we can still serve members of the public. If they come in to pay a bill or something, we'll still be able to process that. We have to do it manually for a time, but then we'll be live on our financial side. There's still work on HR implementation, my civic implementation, which is the parish bill we talked about, the public facing on app portal, as well as work order and asset management. So there's a long way to go, but this is a big step, and Ginny's been putting in a lot of time along with her staff. A lot of city staff across the city have been taking trainings, and so we're moving along. It's exciting. Parks and Recreation, Wilbur Pool preparations are ongoing. We should be on schedule for opening Saturday, June 27th. And the miscellaneous sidewalk replacement contract is going to be complete. You noticed concrete poured across the street today. There's 1 more pour remaining. And that's what I have for today. Have any questions?
I have a quick question that I could probably email. It's about, so the Washington Street, the Washington replacement, reminded me that there are some areas of street that have been dug up, cut out very nicely and dug up to do like repairs. And now there's a packed dirt, right? And I'm just wondering like what the repair schedule is for those holes. Like there are a couple near Washington on Church.
Church and Deeds.
Yeah.
That's part of that project, is
Oh,
where
is
they
it?
tied, they're doing tie-ins for the water main.
Oh,
So that would be repaired as part of the project.
okay.
Exact timing, we can email you once we know.
Okay, and so, just with that, it said that the work will be complete at the end of June. Does that include, like, refinishing the street, or is that, like, later?
That'll go later. So
Okay.
this is just the water and sewer main replacement utility work.
Okay.
The sidewalk and curb comes later, and the pavement itself will come later.
Okay, so what can residents expect the street to look like at the end of June?
I believe there will be,
There'll be gravel at grade. We like
Okay.
to let the road settle for entire winter season. So just like along the hill,
Okay,
sat through entire winter season with gravel at grade. Intersection of Church and Washington and Deeds and Washington are a little bit different. I may do temporary patch there,
okay,
but I'm not gonna do a full road repair now because it's gonna settle.
that makes
And
sense.
before we do final pavement, we really want the soil to settle.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to maintain it through the winter time, we'll have to patch, we're gonna do some settlement, but we're gonna keep an eye on it. The plan would be to do exactly what we're gonna do with Walnut Hill this year, which would be completely replacing all the curbing, all the sidewalk, both sides of the roadway, and then doing complete pavement rehabilitation next year.
That'd be awesome. Okay, I just wanted to be able to tell people what the street is gonna look like when it's done. So just like gravel pretty much through the winter. Okay, thank you. And like, sorry,
You're good.
parking restrictions will be lifted as soon as they're
The parking
finished?
restriction will be lifted once the work is complete.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Thank you.
we can send a letter, we send a letter to the residents initially or hand them out. We'll do the same thing again, so they know. So hopefully we'll get too many questions.
Okay, and I mean, if you want to give me those, I could do that. Help out. Okay.
I got one quick question, because I think we had a little miscommunication with the splash pad going to Lower Park. That's not gonna be done this year, right? That's gonna be done next year?
It may be done this fall, but it will not be done before full opening.
Okay.
Greg, I just had a question about Water Street. So Water Street's considered a municipal facility, is that correct?
Right, it's
Okay.
a public street.
Yeah, so NICOM had this alcohol use at municipal facilities checklist, and I was just wondering if Oneonta will adopt something similar to that, like pre-approval requirements, insurance documentation.
We do that already.
You did it, it's all set, okay, thank you.
We're good. We
Okay.
don't do bad things.
I know we don't, but I just wanted to make sure, because it came across with America 250, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say for the second watch party there on Saturday, I think by the end, it was well over 100. And I know Carrie got a great video of everybody at the end. You might be able to get a crowd count from that. But overall, I heard very positive responses to that, and just the atmosphere that was created, during the event, and I imagine it was similar on Friday, was just really positive to see people out enjoying that space together. The other, thing that I heard in relation to that is that people hope that that we'll be able to use these, like the screen and stuff for events beyond sports, maybe movies or, other things going into the future. So I just want to pass along how well received that was. I wish Carrie was also here to thank her, but, thank you to all the city staff who helped make this happen.
All right, committee reports, Communications Committee.
You have to forgive me a little bit. I can't see in my left eye at the moment, but it's being fixed. So the committee met on June 3rd, and the committee asked the city clerk, Carrie Harrington, to draft a request for proposals for a new city website vendor. The document will outline changes and updates to the website that we've been discussing. The committee discussed the city's strategic communications plan and the possibility of hiring a public information officer. And if the council were to approve, that person would be hired, or the person that would be hired would be responsible for both internal and external communications. And of course, that would come before the council. The idea of hiring somebody additional, that the council would have to approve that. There's 3 upcoming events that I just want to mention. Friday, Juneteenth, at Foothills from 11 to 4. Mayor Butterman is scheduled to speak at 11:15. Saturday from 2:30 to 8, and again, the second part of the Juneteenth Festival. That one is at Leo Park. And the last item, this weekend, Kano is hosting the Oneonta Federated Garden Club's Art in Bloom exhibit.
That was last weekend.
What's that?
It was last weekend.
Oh, it was last weekend. Oh, so you're really up to date on this. Thank you.
Any questions for Councilmember Matheson? Okay, legislative committee, Councilmember Carson.
Thank you. We met June 8th, and out of our list, we've had a few items. We'll be working with the city clerk and the city attorney to bring to the council hopefully next session. We're going to be talking about downtown garbage here later in our roundtable, and we heard about administrative fees. I guess the mayor's working with Judy and her staff to come up with a plan for administrative fees. So, other than that,
Administrative fees for.
administrative fees, which is a subsection of our codes,
Okay.
protections within codes.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, sorry. Any questions for Councilmember Carson? Finance and Human Resources, Councilmember Walsh Russo.
Yes, thank you. We met last Thursday, which was the 11th, and went over a series of capital improvement projects in terms of funding approvals, of which have been specified in the consent agenda. We went over DPW and OPD, looking at departmental reviews, mainly for the OPD to inaugurate the inclusion of security guards for the Water Street, specifically for Water Street viewing. And that was about it. So it was a thorough conversation, most of which is now included in the packet tonight.
Any questions? Okay, budget review and strategic planning, Councilmember Archu, sorry.
Sure, it's very short. Our meeting's been rescheduled to the 29th at 5:30.
Okay. You sure you don't need more time?
I mean, if you got it, I did some things I
All right.
Sorry.
Approval warrants. Motion that the common council approves the warrants totaling $761,740.73 and that the same be placed on the finance director's desk for payment as presented. We have a motion. Councilmember Matheson, followed by Councilmember it's one of those, this throws me off on
Yeah.
the way we Councilmember Marks. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
On the warrants?
Yes, so like 99.9% of the time send it to us, but I'm sitting here looking at my email and I didn't get it.
We now have the access on the website to see all the detail of the warrants.
Right.
So since that was done, we stopped sending out the email with just the totals because you were supposed to be able to get the link on the website for all of the detail. So I don't know how Carrie's been distributing the link for the report.
I didn't get it.
No, I mean, we were given the instructions, and I've just been logging on to check it. Yeah, I mean, it looks, I think it's been a while now, because yeah, but that's how I do it, is I just go in ahead of time and check.
So for the amount on that link, for the amounts for this week, that's on there as a subcategory?
Yep, and all the details are right there too.
Oh, okay.
The attachments. Yeah.
So do you want to email to you directly, Lynn?
No, so we need to figure out how to get that in.
Carrie, I think she attaches it to the calendar and everything.
It's only, yeah, I have it just saved as a link. You know, I just saved the one that she sent out, and I feel like she just assigned us a password, I think. Yeah, and I just saved it, and Yeah, I have it under elected officials, under ward detail, it's its own spot.
And Len, when you see it, it'll be several pages of the details. It will list every voucher that makes up the total. Then at the very end, the last page, there'll be a reconciliation of what is being sent in the motion to the detail.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Councilmember Lopari, should we please call the roll?
I would love to. Councilmember Mosher Campoli. Aye. Walsh Russo.
Yes.
McHugh.
Aye.
LaParshu. Aye. Carson.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Marks.
Yes.
Matheson.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I would like to pull number 10 on the motion. Is there anybody else that'd like to pull anything? No? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Less motion 10.
Less
Yes,
motion
yes.
10.
So
yes.
moved.
And Councilmember Walter Campoli and Councilmember Parshu. Councilmember Parshu, please call the roll.
Sure. Hold on 1 second.
Yes. Sorry.
Ah, okay. I don't know how Carrie does this. Councilmember Mosher Campoli. Aye. Councilmember Walsh Russo.
Yes.
Councilmember McHugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Parishu. Aye. Councilmember Carson.
Yes.
Councilmember Harrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Marks.
Yes.
Councilmember Matheson.
Yes.
Also, you guys are audibly in order, so it's really strange. Like, it's just a strange sensation. Okay.
Okay, back to motion number 10. Motion that the common council approves the closure of the Survive Then Thrive program originally authorized on June 2nd, 2020, and further authorizes the return of the remaining program balance totaling $6,625.86 to CDS2 local program funding. Can I have a motion, Councilmember Carson, seconded by Councilmember Mosher Campoli. So discussion. The reason why I would like to pull this is when we're doing this in the Finance and Human Resources Committee, we're originally going to put it to arts, and I got thinking about after the watch party and some of the stuff that was going on, and like city administrator just said, we need to get maybe a better projector and stuff like that. I was wondering if we could create the fund, or if we have a fund that we could put that into for those events, like the watch party and the stuff that we bought the trailer for and stuff like that, versus, because the arts has an established fund already. So it's just kind of a thing that was thrown out there.
I would just clarify, Washington, Jenny, why don't you explain a little bit better than I do?
Okay, that's what this local program is for, Scott. It doesn't have to just be for public art, it can be for any event that the council approves. So if you want to pass a budget amendment to spend this $6,600 on, more equipment or whatever for local events, the council can approve that. That's why we set up this local program, so the council has the power for that flexibility. If you don't want it in that particular program, we can move it back to the general fund, and you can just put it in, our regular budget to be used for that purchase. So it's up to you.
It's up to the council. Does anybody have thoughts on that? How they'd like to do it?
But in a local program, it means that we can use it for events like this.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so let's leave it, let's let it go back.
Can it be earmarked just for that 6,000 just for buying any equipment?
If you want to make a friendly amendment to the motion saying, in the CDS local program to be used towards future purchases of, city events, you can do that modification.
I would like to make that friendly amendment as Jimmy stated. Is everybody in favor of that friendly amendment?
That would be good.
Yep.
Okay, here's where, go
Can I
ahead.
ask a question? I am in favor of that. Because I'm really excited and I was super bummed that we aren't going to be able to show that game on Friday. No, it's on Friday. June 19th.
Sunday at 3.
No, it's Friday at 3. 100%.
Friday at 3? Oh, you're right. Hey, you're saying she's right, she's right.
Follow the World Cup.
Friday.
So, how much is the equipment that we would need? Like, does this cover it?
I don't know.
Oh.
Probably not.
It's for rent, I mean, certainly not, we're not gonna be purchasing a
Oh.
large LED wall.
You don't wanna do that?
But I think, yeah, sure, I guess $5,000, I don't know.
To rent?
To rent it?
Potential.
Ah,
But I will
That's-
reach out to some vendors and get an idea.
so much. Yeah, we have an expert. How much does it cost?
To purchase
Rent
one?
one.
To rent one? It's not, I don't rent, but I mean, to purchase it, 10 by 30 is probably 65,000.
Oh, and also huge, like then we'd have to store
Yeah,
it
it's
and
10 by
maintain it.
30, so I mean, how big was that screen, Greg?
A little bigger than that.
Okay.
Or maybe a
So,
better projector might fall within some of
It's
this.
because you
That's
gotta,
right.
you gotta beat out the sunlight, so that's
Right.
the nits or
Yeah.
lumens.
Yeah.
And so you need at least 5,000 nits or lumens to beat that out. Generally, direct sunlight's 7,500 nits. So then it has to be rated for the outdoors, so it has to be IP65 rated. So it starts getting real expensive. And then, so if you make that kind of investment, you wanna make sure that you're using it all the time, right?
right. So, I just am wondering what we're planning to do with $6,600 earmarked toward it. Could you just elaborate? Because I'm just not sure what this $6,600 would do in
What?
service of the events outside during the day.
Yeah, well, just to draw on your point, I think you had mentioned possibly upgrading the projector,
Yes.
so
Okay.
exploring that.
And maybe set it as a side to part of the equipment fund, stuff that needs to be done. If something should happen to the screen, there's a replacement for it,
Yeah.
you know.
You could get a tent rental and could put all that underneath and kind
That's-
of darken everything up a little bit.
What I was wondering. I wasn't sure how far we wanted to get into that.
I don't know how much a commercial
Maybe we
tent
could
rental
turn
is.
it. Like a canopy.
So I guess that's what it could be used for.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm all for it, I hope we can make it happen, I really was looking forward to, it's a holiday, I don't have to work, I was going, so. Okay, I'm totally cool with the friendly amendment, thank you for all that.
All right, so any further discussion? No? Councilmember Lepari Shu, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Mosher Kimball.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassersell.
Yes.
Councilmember McHugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Lepari Shu. Sure. Councilmember Carrington. Carson, this one is Carson.
Yes.
Okay, Councilmember Harrington.
Yes.
Marks.
Yes.
Matheson.
Yes.
Great.
All right. Send this from me, where? Discussion is agenda, I got my glasses back on. Motion that the common council authorize the waiver of purchasing policy and authorizes the city administrator to modify an agreement with Herman Engineering PLLC, Oneonta, New York, for additional professional engineering service related to the Sword Wilcox Barn project, increasing the original contract by $5,000 to a total amount not to exceed $24,000, subject to review by our city attorney. Do I have a motion for Councilmember Carson, second? Councilmember McHugh. Any discussion? Yes.
Yeah, I see, it is a modest increase, $5,000 so that's for additional professional engineering services with Herman Engineering. So will this just help minimize further delays with the project? And do we know why there was a $5,000 increase? And will that enhance the overall outcome of the barn project? I wasn't really quite certain what that was going to include, so.
Yes, we do. I don't remember all the conversation that we had to find human resources, so.
Yeah, I think actually, Jenny can probably, you spoke to this in our meeting.
Chris is the expert on this.
Oh, yes, oh, Chris, yes.
So,
This is a hot potato.
Yeah,
Somebody.
but the reason we have to bring it forward, I'll just tell you technically, is because it has gone over the bidding requirement. When a contract goes over the $20,000 earmark, then we need council approval to waive the purchasing policy, so we don't have to do competition. But I will let Chris explain why there was an increase in the fee.
And that's specific to consultant services,
Yes.
to clarify, because there are different rates for other
Correct.
items. The reason for the $5,000 increase is because we had to rebid the project. This is where the original bids came in very high. I think we're looking at $1 million for doing all the contracts, the general contract, the HVAC, the plumbing, the electrical. We ended up awarding the plumbing, HVAC, and electrical originally and decided to rebid the GC part of the contract, which is the largest part of the project, which required her engineering to redesign things that were on the drawings, things that the city is doing. So my staff, my crew, they're going to be constructing the water service, we're constructing the sanitary sewer service, we are doing the sidewalks, we are doing the pavement, or not pavement, but gravel access driveway and parking area to help reduce the cost for the overall project. So that required changing the contract documents, the drawings, the specifications, required going back out to bid, required that the engineering firm answer questions from potential bidders. So it was quite a bit of additional work beyond the original scope of the project, and so that's what we really entail in the $5,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Mathis.
Yeah, so this is come out to be a fairly expensive project, including the work that if you estimate what the city staff is, the work the city staff is doing, the overall project is about $1.5 million. So it's a big project.
Yes. Worthwhile project, I think. But
Oh, yeah, just in context.
yes,
it's
no,
small.
yeah, it's, I don't, yeah. Who would know that moving the life put it back up would be so huge?
Well, it's a new structure, really.
Yeah.
The wood from the old barn, I guess it'd be lumber from the old barn, is just gonna be used on the interior.
Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the
Councilman Preston.
funds, though, they were raised by, right? So we're not actually spending city taxpayers' money, right?
Yeah, they have it like reserves and whatever, and it comes back, and then other future fundraising goes back into, to pay, help offset this until it's paid in full back to the city. Yeah, I did pay attention, Jenny.
Hey.
Anything else? All right, Councilmember LaFarge, please call the roll.
Councilmember Moshe Campbell. Aye. Councilmember Walsh Russo.
Yes.
Councilmember McHugh.
Aye.
Lepari Shu, yes. Carson.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Marks.
Yes.
Matheson.
Yes.
Thank you. It's too many words. Sorry.
All right. Council roundtable. Council committee structure. Mayor Butterman sent us what he would like to do. I'm hoping you all got a chance to look at that for feedback if you'd like to discuss that. Basically, all committees will be going into two separate committees. One was finance and legal affairs type one, and the other one was like wildlife and, yes, thank you very much. So the first one is a community infrastructure and legislative affairs committee, and the second one is a finance, human resources, budget review, and strategic plan review committee. This will be 4 and 4, and we split up 4 council members. I don't know the dates. Kind of, I guess, how do you guys feel about it? I know we discussed the council of the whole before, committee of the whole. He would like to try to, I think, institute this by July. If he thinks that's too quick, we can tell him that. And he'd like to run it at least until the end of the year with a new structure. My personal, I'll start off though, with my personal opinion when we started this was trying to make it easier for our city staff for their time. Because we have so many meetings and so much stuff that, by the time they put in their full day, then we go and we do this, and we have it on Wednesday, we have it on Thursday. It's kind of hard to juggle life for our city staff. Second part, it does get hard for the council. We do full-time jobs, and then we come off, and, we're right into the meetings and trying to juggle our family life and stuff. So I was trying to do this in a way that would streamline, try to be more efficient, more focused, more open to the public. Easier for the public to know that if we're gonna meet every Tuesday, it's every Tuesday, instead of trying, I wanna go to finance, or I wanna go this, I wanna be able to speak. So, while I'm not completely opposed to it, I'm not sure how it would work. how would it work when, if, you know, you got a fifth member, sixth member wants to show up, be part of the conversation, would that be allowed, not be allowed? Just some of the things I'm thinking of right now. But, so, I'm gonna open it up for discussion. Who would like to go first?
I'll just start by saying that I think I was trying to formulate some ideas this afternoon about this, because the last meeting I was really sort of gathering information about the original proposal, and I was trying to kind of pinpoint the origins of the discussions, or why did we start talking about having one giant committee meet all the time from the current structure. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, it's because with the current new mayor's incorporation of 3 new committees, I think we started getting some slippage around which committee is doing which kind of oversight and discussion, and there wasn't a lot of clarity. I'm not sure the answer to that, to gaining clarity, is to have this kind of either the committee of the whole or the kind of structure that that the mayor proposed to us. It seemed like, from my vantage point, the old structure worked really well, and it was. And by the old structure, I mean the committees that did not include communications, negotiations, or well, those 2 I think was the main, the most recent additions. I was going to mention budget, but I actually think, you know, with that inclusion, there still was clarity around, you know, which committees were doing what. So I actually think that this is in response to some new, maybe they were seen as innovations to the committee structure that really weren't necessary. And I think going back to the way things were just, you know, 6 months ago is probably that's where I would put forward an argument, because the evidence seems to point me in the direction that there was efficiency and clarity and transparency. I'm not sure the argument for transparency really holds up, because these are all public meetings, the public is notified, the materials are available. There's nothing being obscured in the old structure. And I wish we had a name for that, old structure, other than old structure, but you know, previous or pre-existing, you know, but prior to January.
And I just want to tag on a little bit, and I also think that back when we had 4 people on the committee, it was a lot better than the 3. I think that's where you started the railing, is when you had 3 people on the committee, because you lost the sense, you know, like if you had 4, you had half of what you needed to go forward. And I think when we came to 3, we started stumbling then we had, well, we started pulling a lot of stuff back off, had a lot of conversations, stuff going back down to committees, and we had some tension underneath the 3 structure. That's just the way I see it, but I sat here underneath the 4, so just my thing.
Now, just real quick on the numbers in the committee, what I've noticed is if you're missing 1 committee member when you have 3, you're down to 2, and it's really not effective, I have found. I think you really need at least 3 to 4, you know, present, not just on the committee, to have a good discussion. I know, like with our communications committee, you know, we're into the, you know, June here, and we've only been able to pull together 1 meeting that was all 3 of us, and the other conversations, you know, were helpful in some ways, but didn't feel as productive as the committee needed to be. And so I do think, you know, some streamlining and perhaps going back to the old, you know, something closer to the old structure would be better. And I'm sorry I missed the full discussion last time, because I do think we need some, you know, ways to make it more efficient. However, I don't think going to 1 or even 2. I think we do need some more of these, you know, delineated maybe into like 4 committees, it sounds like we were talking about. And there was another thought, but I'll come back to it. If it comes back around, I'll bring it back up, so.
Well, I was thinking about that also. So we started out with 6 committees: quality of life, legislative communication, and then finance, human resources, negotiate. So negotiations and communications are two new committees this year. Is there some way we could go back to, where, was it originally just 4 committees? Could we absorb?
How far back do you want to go?
Right.
Okay, before January 2026, is there some way we could combine communication and negotiations
We could
in
go
an
back to
already
what the-
existing
We
committee?
go back to what the charter specifies we have to have.
That's,
What's at the heart of it.
that's why I was
Yes.
pointing out, yeah.
And I don't have my charter in front of me, I apologize, my sister does, but.
You know, I just want to put a plug in, and I don't know if this necessarily advances the conversation, but I really want to put an argument forward that the committee structure as it stands, even maybe with these additional committees that are kind of nebulous in their tasks, in their charges, I think it's a fantastic system. The committees the discussions that I participated in have been so fruitful, so I think effective in getting to the nuts and bolts of what we're doing. And the conversations that I've been able to engage with have just been really productive and I think really effective. Certainly in helping with my leadership on this council. So I really want to just put a plug in support of the committee structure as sort of that contains a diversity or an array of committees and not just a singular. I think the singular committee runs the risk of diluting and sort of leading to a kind of fuzziness around what are we really doing here. And there's clarity with having a charge as a committee. These are your tasks, these are your responsibilities, this is your oversight. So I think they're very effective. And I think that it's wonderful also that the public is invited to see the ways in which committees can discuss and share information. So those are my
Councilmember Davis.
Well, I agree that the committee structure works reasonably well, and it's good that we have these extensive discussions in the committee. And Councilmember Walsh Russo does an excellent job as the chair of the Finance and HR Committee. The weakness, in my opinion, of the committee structure is that important business is going on in other committees that I'm not aware of, or I'd have to come to all of the committees to, and I've been to a number of them, and but to do 4 meetings a week or something is kind of a hard thing. So the alternative then would be a committee of the whole, where everyone would be involved in all of the discussions. So I think that's the advantage, and the disadvantage is that I'm not aware of what's going on in legislative and that kind of thing. The mayor's proposal is sort of a compromise. So I don't have a strong opinion about a committee of the whole, the compromise, 2 committees, or keeping it the way it is. I just like to be informed, and we'll see what we need. We need a consensus.
Councilmember Carson, do you have anything?
I just wanted to say that at every meeting, the mayor has included all of our committee reports. So whether you have the ability to go or not is one thing, but every meeting, county council meeting, we listen to what has occurred and what the discussions and topics are. Quite often they'll appear on our agenda, whether it's on consent or discussion agenda. So I really like the way the committee are set up currently. I prefer it this way as well.
My turn? Yeah.
So, for me, consistency kind of leads me into success. So we have dates that bounce all over the place. I think within Dan's letter, he mentioned something about maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays are our other meetings. So if the council as a whole doesn't want to move down the path that he's suggesting, and we go back to what the charter says, then maybe we can take a look at our subcommittee meetings would only meet on a Tuesday or maybe a Thursday again, recognizing the points that you brought up about both staff and elected having other commitments outside of that. That would just give us more consistency. We know that we have to be somewhere in this building on a Tuesday or potentially a Thursday. And that would just maybe help us a little bit more. I like hearing that 4 on a committee is more productive than 3. That is true. I would share those thoughts. So for right now, that's about where I'm at.
I don't have any comment.
Jimmy?
I'm just processing. It's a lot of different options.
Yes.
I did remember what I was going to say before. Okay, in regards to our committees, is looking at budget review, strategic plan review. I would, if we're looking at the overall structure of these, if that's one that sticks around, I would like to propose that we look at it as more of like a budget development committee. Because I think that's really what we're talking about more, is preparing ourselves for the coming budget season, rather than, just, reviewing what's already been done. It's more of a preparation was the impression that I always had was to enter the budget season more prepared, because more work had gone into the development of the budget. So that's just a perspective I had on that.
Greg, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. I'm gonna bring you into discussion a little bit. What is any feedback from the city staff to you about this, or what are your thoughts and feelings about this?
This proposal hasn't been shared, I don't think, beyond the council on your initial discussion tonight, so I don't have any direct feedback from staff. I mean, I do think that 6 committees is a lot, but I also agree that a committee of the whole would be a lot. Imagine discussing all the topics of those 6 committees in one particular meeting. You're looking at a lot of directions, it may be difficult. Beyond that, I'd have to think some more, to give you some more direct feedback or potentially a recommendation, but I do think some changes probably would be helpful.
Do you have any kind of staff meeting with your department heads?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to kind of get their feedback a little bit, what they might think might be, conducive?
Absolutely.
I know the mayor wanted to try to implement this in July, but I don't think we're ready to go anywhere by July with either topic. I think bringing 4 back, I think is a recommendation we can bring back to the mayor. I think that's a good thing. And I think going through our charter and see, it says, the finance is one that's in there. We got a bunch of commissions in there. So really, that's like the big one.
Finance. Yeah,
Yeah,
where's
it's
that listed in the
finance.
charter? It was just-
Page 8.
Okay, thank you.
I stole it from Shannon, so she can have it back, so she can see it. Thank you, Shannon.
Got it.
So I think we can make some recommendations that we'd like to see 4 on the committee. Because it is hard when one's sick and you're down to 2. And maybe between staff feedback, we can come up with a couple. So we know we got finance, we know we got the quality of life. I think those are 2 big ones.
Yeah.
And then budget, I think is in review, is a big one.
Yeah, well, and, you said, how far back do you wanna go?
Right.
That we've been informed by our city attorney on more than one occasion, it's kind of like a pendulum that swings, so, these are not the only committees to ever exist. We could possibly look at committees that have existed prior to our terms of office, and how effective those were, and what types of things they covered. Because the business, there are new topics for sure, but the general business of running the city government is not new, and so, I'm sure there are times when it's been done really well, and we might be able to learn from that.
So I think, would there be a consensus tonight to tell the mayor that we're not ready to move for July? And we'd like to see 4 back, and we've asked for city staff input. And I like Councilmember Carson was just talking about, that if we can pick a date, Tuesdays or Thursdays, so at least that would give structure for our staff too, to know that what the days are, and along with us, so that we know for family life. Yes.
I think that would be wonderful. I do wonder how feasible that is though, because I know anytime that a meeting needs to get rescheduled, I know trying to find a date is really tough. I also just want to remind ourselves that we're heading into budget season and we're going to need more Tuesdays for additional meetings. You know, we always have to schedule extras and we usually do those on Tuesdays. So that's just another consideration. I do agree though that there would be a beautiful simplicity to having certain, you know, meeting dates if, you know, we're able to accommodate that, you know, what we have, our space and everything, so. And staff.
Anybody else? Okay, I think we've exhausted that one.
Okay.
I lost my page here. 27 Market Street trash lease. Councilman Carson, I'll look at you because you read that in. Do you want to continue with that?
So we have a deadline, July 1st, set by the council, and now 2 building owners and 2 businesses have come forward to say, hey, maybe there's an alternative. So with that said, I had placed a call, I left a voicemail with Logan Trucking, I'm waiting for them to call me back. I spoke on site with someone that is involved in fencing, because I know nothing about fencing, and wanted to know what does that involve. Suggestions that came from that is maybe 2 16-foot by 16-foot areas with gates on each of those 16-foot sections, which can be lockable. So if either Logan and Casella enter into this agreement, then they'll each have their own space. Our code is section 91-2. It says if you can see this dumpster from this public street, it needs to be screened in, so we will follow our rules. The placement of it is the same geographical footprint. It does bring some challenges because Clinton Plaza has an elevated parking lot, so those folks are already above this area that we have them in. So that will need probably a 6-foot chain link fence put up there. So overall, we would look at a 16 by 32-foot section of 27 Market Street to be fenced in some kind of an agreement with, I guess it sounds as though Mr. and Mrs. Logan are interested in some kind of a lease faction. I know when I spoke with Casella today, the representative said that they have either contracts with property owners or business owners, and he listed out the different communities. There were 7 of them. 3 of which was interesting is that they actually have a contract with the municipality for daily pickup. And then the municipality charges or invoices the business owners or the property owners that use it. So I know legally we could go into the garbage business, but I don't know. So I guess recognizing that July 1st is coming up and that I haven't spoken to Mr. and Mrs. Logan as of yet, I would ask for some kind of a direction. Obviously, any lease that comes up, the city attorney has to be involved in, and maybe that means we have to have a special meeting prior to July 1st. So. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Matheson.
Well, I was hoping that we could resolve this tonight, and I was thinking about making a motion, but after talking to Len earlier tonight, I'm not going to do that. But Len, what's the outlook of coming to a conclusion between now and the end of the month?
I guess it really comes up to those that are affected by this, right? So I read the letter from a concerned business owner. And that's, for me, priority number 1 is trying to figure out, because our downtown businesses have taken a hit for the last 3-4 years. And I really don't want to inflict any more of that. But yet we have to recognize what's been done in the past to where is it we want to go in the future. And so this is just, as I said last time, a Band-Aid. We literally need to continue having the talks. So whether, it's Derek and others that own property in downtown area. I know that I've spoken to a couple other property owners. Let's get everybody to the table. I know Greg has tried that for quite some time of getting people to the table, and so by imposing this deadline, it is causing people that I've never seen before to come forward and start having a conversation. So I'm glad that the council did that. Because, you know, it was a lot of work on Greg trying to get everybody to come. So right now, I know that we have a property owner that is willing to move forward. We have another property owner that wants to start getting others and business owners to maybe here, maybe conference table somewhere, and let's have a conversation. What does that look like long-term, right? So there's other options out there. We heard about a compactor, but it actually turns out you can make a chute go to a dumpster. So obviously that's a lot lower cost. What does that look like? What do we expect from whomever leases this property? Is it next to the tower? Okay, if it's next to the tower, is it only chutes? Are we gonna allow them to use the stairwell, the elevator? Are they gonna be cleaning the elevator in the stairwell? You know, where's all that? So, and then how far do you open this? Right now, the way I understand it, the users is 27 Market Street are the Clinton Plaza businesses. I don't think there's any agreement with the property owner for Clinton Plaza. And then businesses and building owners on Water Street, so. That's what I'm sure.
Well, and I appreciate the details that were specified. I just, again, want to caution or throw out, the idea that we may be slipping slowly into that site as instead of an investment piece that we're trying to develop into transforming it into something like a garbage dump for local businesses. So I just think we have to be cautious, careful, as we have these negotiations and discussions.
So I totally agree with that, and I just don't want to end up like, we just went to Ireland, they literally are putting compactors in parking spaces. So I don't want to get there. That's what
I just wanted to ask, so then with that being said, what would happen to the trash and recyclable bins that are currently sitting out on Water Street? Would they still be allowed, or would they be in
You mean
violation?
the totes, the
Yeah,
totes with
yes.
wheels on? They're in violation right now, the city code.
Okay, so how would we remedy that situation when we're trying to use Water Street as our, entertainment district?
Code enforcement.
My concern is just, you were talking about, I don't want to see the garbage cans, or what did you call them, totes?
Yeah, I call them totes.
Yeah, the tote, I don't want to see totes lined up and down Water Street, and also on Main Street, because some of the people on Main Street don't have back doors to Water Street. So whatever solution comes forward, the particulars are of less interest to me. I don't want Water Street looking like what's behind, the north side of Main Street with big dumpsters and garbage all over the place. So how we get there, it seems to me the simplest thing is somehow have dumpsters on 27 Market Street. To your point, if we sell a property, the cars and the dumpsters would have to be removed. That would be part of the deal that we work out now. I don't think that would be, a developer would understand that that's not an inhibited, that's not going to inhibit their bids. But anyway, we have to have a solution. I don't want to see garbage all over the place.
Yeah, just also that, I share concern about how we're using the 27 Market Street property, how we're utilizing that valuable property there. And obviously, taking care of garbage is an immediate concern, that we need to deal with right now. We are coming short on time. This is already an extension. I just think it's really important that when we're talking about moving this conversation forward, I'm hearing that, our city administrator has worked to try to resolve this for 3 years. I don't think any of us want to see this continuing for another 3 years. So I just, as we're going forward, I want to be very careful about our timeline and making sure that we're cognizant of that as we approve any temporary, extensions to, potentially for a lease here. Because I think that property is a real gem. And I don't think, storing cars and garbage there is, the best use of our gem in the middle of our, newly revitalized Market Street that we just got a wonderful presentation about. That property deserves to shine. And so I really just want to make sure as we move forward that any extensions that we do, any leases that we do to allow other uses on that property, which are not even, allowed, are not even included in, our code, that we are very cognizant of the timelines that we're looking at for that, and that we're making these short extensions so that we can continue to, because if having, a deadline in front of people is what helped motivate them, I think we need to keep that, carrot, at the end of the stick there.
So I'm gonna put this in context for you. I did not do the research. I talked to Councilmember Carson today. Greg has been working on this since 2017 is the earliest record that we can find.
Really?
Back when he was city engineer.
Wow.
So here we are almost
Yeah.
10 years later. Almost 10 years later, so. My take is this. I wanna keep what we already have. If they come to the table and they're talking and it looks like we might be able to have a deal, I think we can have a special meeting and we could probably, give another extension. But I think it took us putting the pressure onto this point to get people at the table. And if we take that pressure off, I think it's just gonna die again. And here we're gonna, 10 years from now, whoever's sitting in these seats are gonna be doing the same thing. So that's that, and I think we're gonna have to, we have codes and we're gonna have to utilize our codes and, it's not a good situation, but I follow the code at home and, it's just, everybody else does. And we have other businesses out there that we're not trying to make special stuff with, and I think we're going above and beyond to try to get this going forward. This is kind of my take, and yes, I don't want garbage all over the place, but on the same token, where do we draw the line? At what time do we draw the line? I think we've been there. I mean, again, almost 10 years to get to this point is a long time. And I think there's an agreement, and I really hope that Logan might step up to the table since, so I would ask if you don't mind still spearheading this. We've been putting a lot of time into it, and, I'm sure we can come up with something. If we need a special meeting, I'm for a special meeting, so it's not like, no, we're not gonna work with you, we're gonna work with you, but if we have to have a special meeting, work with you. So that's kind of where I stand.
Right, and I also just want to put out there that the legislative committee was tasked with downtown garbage, refuge garbage storage and collection citywide. And as Judy told us, the escalation fee for garbage collection by the city staff was already in place in code, so we will keep working on this. So.
Excuse me, Len, could you repeat that last sentence, not the working?
Escalation fee for garbage collection by city staff, and that's already in place. Judy pointed that out to us at the legislative committee meeting. It's already in code. So we already have an escalation fee for garbage.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
So, and the code is 91-2, and it's pretty specific. So, your concerns of toters are actually the trash receptacle are not allowed to be past 24 hours. Okay.
I know we're being sensitive to the needs of our downtown, Water Street, Market Street, even Main Street businesses, because we do want our goals of vibrant downtown, Main Street, Water Street, and I think we're just hopefully being good stewards to help them, but at the same time, I certainly understand the need for a more permanent solution.
And we get a special meeting if we got somebody who wants to come up, if we think that you know, we got some good talks going, you know, so.
I just wanted to thank Councilmember Carson for laying some groundwork there, Logan's and some other partners, and for everybody else who spoke up, you know, about concerns and, you know, the writing correspondence. It was really helpful to understanding, you know, all the perspectives here, so, and, you know, thanks for getting that going for us.
Yeah, and again, I just want to reiterate, this is not like, oh my God, the city's walking. We still want to be proactive and try to make it. So, right, that's 27 Market Street. Is there anything else that we want to do on the council roundtable? We have once, twice, second vote. Petitioner, second opportunities. Anybody like to address the council? Anybody wants to address? Yes, go ahead.
So come July 1st, will there have been a meeting to extend the dumpsters? Is that what you're saying, by a special meeting? A special meeting of the council to vote to extend the dumpsters in their current place?
That would happen before July 1st, but if that doesn't happen because we're not, you know, there's not work in progress, then the dumpsters are out by July 1st. So, but Councilmember Carson's gonna be doing a lot of legwork and appreciate that, so thank you. So, you're retired, you retired into the garbage business. Anybody else that would like to address? Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm just, the special, well, Brian Shaughnessy, 6 Month Belmont Circle, that special meeting, just thinking if it's next week, yeah, July 1st is coming up pretty quick. Next week, people on the council might not all need to be here, and I know you need probably 5 votes.
5.
And so, yeah, maybe you should look at doing something tonight, at least extending it. I know you guys have been discussing things, so, but yeah, I'm not real optimistic about a special meeting, and, you know, if there's a gap, things get shut down on July 1st, and have a lot of people scrambling and not knowing what to do.
If one of the council members would like to bring something up off the floor, they know that they can. I'm not confident you would have 5 votes tonight to extend anything, so.
Well, we discussed it, and by pushing up against the deadline is more likely, it's applying pressure that we might get an agreement that's agreeable, so, that works. So I don't think that's a good idea at this time.
Anybody else that wants to address the council?
Yeah, I guess since it's my last chance, my understanding was that a motion, well, you said that the motion you had prepared, but when you discussed with Mr. Carson, you said you're going to hang back with that. Would you please explain why?
Can we
holding back?
Can we note that this is comment time?
Yes.
It's not dialogue time, it's not discussion time, it's statement time.
Yes. We're not supposed to answer you, so we kind of got a little off track. That's my fault. But you can sit there and so.
Yeah, enough said. I suppose I'll speak to one or more of you separately, and we'll figure out a plan, I guess.
Anybody else? No need for executive session, is there? No? Good. 7:05, and we're adjourned.
Thank you. Nice work. Thank you. And thank you, by the way, for presenting my report last time. I saw it, I was reminded as I was going through the minutes, and I was like, oh, that's right. This is like, other than a special meeting, I think it's the first regular meeting that I've missed.
I got my basic here.
Thank you, that's smart.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're right. Like, Greg's got it. I didn't write anything for trash. Greg's got it. He only gets one of those. Yeah.
Adrian, Eric.
All right.
Fortunately, on deadline.
Yeah, well, deadlines, you know,
Thank
that's
you.
hard.
Yes, it is.
I appreciate it.
Take care.
You too.
I'm sitting here knowing there's something I'm not.
Yeah.
607-244.
Good job. Seemed more comfortable last time you did this, you were nervous, I thought.
Well, it's actually weird because you're used to looking at the corners. And now I look and I'm like,
I want to hear from Logan first.
I'm surprised that that's where nice.
All right.
And then it's a little bit weird tonight too, because I'm asking her to call her. I'm scared of coming back.
Serving my community. I actually totally forgot, so I'm glad I came. And, yeah, I mean, that's, we didn't even talk about like something about, was I supposed to take notes? I took some notes.
Right, I'm working down things we're
It's
down.
also recorded, so you can do the recording.
The council is the actual scope of the general public.
Anywho, I'm gonna go dinner.
We've been trying this for 3 years.
Look,
I see your face.
on the side, there's
So-
pictures at
Yeah, I don't know what I was.
Well, yeah, they do a terrible job though, in my opinion.
Greg was trying to get me to call Jack
And we
Lyon,
couldn't talk.
try to reach out to you. I'd like to see everybody
there,
on
and
the
I
same
saw
time.
Peter.
This is literally only a band, one or two was. We are not giving
It's
it.
true. No, we did a great job at that. Yeah.
She did,
She listened to the meetings. My name, the transcriber would always write it down
It
as
might be some
the
of
party
we don't
shoe.
know yet. So we hear from you and.
When I had my latest event,
The numbers and letter back or hers.
6 years ago, so I was talking to
They decided.
someone on street, she had dumpsters in the dock of the line. And I said, so
Those businesses are not scrambling.
So she said, she's taking notes.
Told me
I said, where's that woman? She was in, she was in
Two other
the Philippines.
businesses.
Set up more.
And,
Different time zone.
what's that?
It's a totally different time zone, right?
Oh, yeah, it's
How does
happening.
that work? I mean, I know this time that work, you just like up and look at the night transcriber.
And you
Disappointing at her.
She was like, away.
Another extension when that.
I gotta run, I'm gonna go to dinner. See ya. Thanks,
So
bye.
I hope that you.
Too,
I
yeah.
hope-
I would imagine so. That was quite the event.
You're-
One of the.
I know.
City government. Figure out a way to posting your.
No,
garbage.
I'm hoping you
So
got.
hot.
That starts.
I mean, I know you do.
Which is already identified, which communicated, those on the job, communicated horizontally
Oh, I
to
didn't.
that business.
I just wrote.
It's 2-3 forms.
Friendly
Total gut
amendment
job,
and
right?
for
So
equipment.
I get the hazards of a dumpster fire.
That was not very descriptive.
But, we need to have a
The
big
face,
discussion.
I was like, no, we're right there.
No, it's funny, and the doctor was like,
So,
like a
you
rat.
know, contractors and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's,
think,
uh,
yeah.
Because you go all the way to the back, like,
Yeah,
every back,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
I mean,
there,
no
then
And
you-
then is it upstairs?
and then
Yeah.
you go to the
Just
third
for
floor.
the
But I think it's
record,
started.
Yeah.
the past 3
And
years,
then
5
you
years,
go right from there,
last month,
there,
whatever,
right
I
still.
for my work, the recent one, as soon as, not long after I got
Just
back.
don't, like, on the building next door. You know,
I think even if the dumpsters went away,
You're never really above Main Street.
when I talked to Dan, I was like, all right, that's not the worst case scenario. Could you get to do a second round? They don't operate separate. Well, maybe something operates separate.
So that way.
Where does that cost
it's
you?
like,
Yeah, so,
Right,
well,
so-
then the dumpsters would be reduced and sort of sloughed off into the I have 19 bedrooms upstairs. So they're all working for me. So they all just enter into the trash bags to the dumpster. It's a pretty short. Or sometimes I help them.
No, and that's, anything goes to that, like, whatever we're calling it.
So the dumpsters were going away for me. I was.
Because that way we want to sponsor.
city sponsored filming events.
So you've seen.
Because that way
They
it's.
set up there 5 or 6 totes there.
Right, they cannot change the physical.
So Morris
Keeping
Town.
them out.
He's gonna get permit
Yeah.
from this market council. And codes are stuff going down on a daily basis, issuing permits.
Well,
So
listen,
the message
yeah.
gets sent.
Anyways,
If
and
those
you see
trash
the
receptacles
and
will
like,
not be visible
just
from Market Street,
circling
which is a
around,
public
like,
street.
I'll believe it when I see it, and you always.
Oh, it's coming.
image that
There's
was
no
there.
way. It's not, I'm not gonna say no to Springbrook and yes to Derek, if that's what you're saying. No, but there's no way.
The first thing they do then with their grandma is sign.
I've known people had done
But I did notice that their receptacles, because my wife and I are China restaurant, they're no longer there day after day after day, and they're back in the lower, right? So they're making sure. Now you're complaining about people going to their garbage, yeah, their garbage smells.
It does stink, it's all spring.
So we rented,
Or just like,
paid for it right away, now for lifetime. So because we did make serious investment. Taxpayer money. That's something we're gonna have to talk to them about. It's a legal document that we enter into, and then, you know, they're rest assured, it'll be all the way across the board. Because my year was bad. They're off by seeing the news. Concerned about her customers coming in, her smelling the cans. That's Hollywood Barbershop. So she wants to.
Seems to be fine. They just haven't gone the workflow that other things have been done. They're still doing bins out back, but it's just that.
And maybe they look to the right and say, oh,
But like I had like,
I get it.
I'm really excited.
I'm trying to see a picture, what is downtown? What's
She
doing
has
with
me,
it?
I'm really excited for you.
I can see both sides, I suppose, when it comes to.
I'll be on the other
It's gonna be somewhere for it to go.
Oh, then
So do you want it in main places or?
Yeah, I guess I need to.
You want all of that?
Yeah. Well, right.
Like if you're able to get in touch with.
All right, I'll say thank you.
This week.
Yeah. Or I talk to Sean.
And if they're like, yes, slap together kind of these run by the attorney and,
He will create the whole
Yes,
system. I'm sure he already has something.
So I have all of them.
well,
Yeah.
and office,
So doesn't want to.
Student in the past has worked for me.
Yeah.
It's a this time it didn't really, which is why I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, what? And I thought,
Well, I think Derek mentioned in his talk tonight that he's.
Well, I mean, that could be an underlying
it could be
cause,
and
you
I'm
know.
like, well, she thought maybe,
I mean,
I was
obviously,
like,
you know,
Grudging
I hear
against
sexual
the
assault
letter.
too, but.
yeah, and that's the thing about it. So I think this major
So.
and I've been popping,
Maybe the organ.
air frozen, and just sweat.
Harsh.
Yeah, so he was, you know, right, so the nurse was like,
My most favorite thing to talk
stuff it in
No,
there.
I know this.
Yeah, like
Anytime
bacteria.
see what he's going
Exactly.
to try and
And
have
so,
a
and then that
conversation
could be
with
the
Greg's.
Yeah.
Personally, I think
Because
the
I
chute,
use them all
the
the
gravity
time.
chute next to the tower.
Especially when I run. So he's like, just go and get yourself here.
I was gonna say, I have those like headphone things for work that I use, which is kind of helpful because it helps block out the other sound too.
Needing electricity,
And I
it's just a
love-
gravity chute.
yeah, like if I'm at
Moving that, the phone, there's a-
Yeah. Even if I'm in the office, you know.
Not if they're required, not if they're required.
It's up to whoever owns the
Right.
house around the
Well,
bar.
I was thinking I might get,
We're going
I'm
to.
like, should I just go buy some beats? You know those?
Yeah, yeah.
It's our property.
It's not expensive, I need to get some kind of,
Reservation.
you know, earbud things for the summer for when we go to these concerts.
I know what that is.
Yeah, like, we're going to Bethel Woods and see Lindsay Sterling.
Not picking on any
Any
particular
like,
graphics. It's literally
she has a lot of stuff that
feel like
has like Christmas music, but then, you know, she does a lot of like
I recall.
classic like dance music kind of stuff, and, you know, so it's fun music, and we thought, you know, it'd be a good crowd, you know, I have a great
We're gonna just put it.
You can have like what, you know, crowds want to go to, you know, like, what, you know, Like
You run in a
Lumiere
closet,
and,
they-
you
they-
know,
You-
yeah,
you-
crowds,
you-
like,
you-
I wanna go to
Market Street.
Rough
Sometimes they're
Rowdy.
overflowing, I
No.
gotta pick up every day. Because I'm there, I'm there every day, almost.
Just right now, I was down for 10 tomorrow to do the click
The
agenda.
snacks from the two towns, so they kind of drag the feet on collection. So if we put that, people their feet to the fire on daily collection.
I'll see you tomorrow then. Hey, night, bye,
It would,
bye,
uh,
so.
Have a good night, thanks for
Making sure that their doors on the dumpsters are actually shown.
Yes.
Right, so the visualization by whoever's in charge of that area. Because I was standing there today, I'm like, wow, this is really. And then separation of food
Yes,
and
oh,
garbage.
absolutely.
So that was kind of the positive of me having these conversations, is I'm finding that they are gonna bring a food trailer on board. So that means they're trying to talk to restaurants and hospitals and whatever else about the collection of the food. So there's already a recycler. I oversaw that 7 years ago, because I just was getting on council. And so there's already a recycling machine that will take food processing and recycle it into like mulch. So we
That's
could,
very hard.
maybe that's what we're getting to.
Mhm.
So a mattress is unsightly. So I recognize that it costs $45 to get rid of. Also part of my home. But food garbage, right, that stinks.
It sure does.
That's probably the most obnoxious thing.
And attracts
Right,
pests, rodents,
Right.
and God knows what else.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks.
You were the only one I didn't even talk to, and you showed up, so that's great. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your
We'll talk
attention to
to you.
this matter. All
Hot topic.
All right. A good meeting. We met,
Yeah,
You now see, like, for negotiating, keeping that deadline on there creates them to say, okay, let's do it. If we just said, let's extend this for 30 days, everybody go back to sleep.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with you completely.
So keep the pressure on him, he'll come, he'll get others, and we'll figure this out. Let's just figure it out. I have no doubt that we'll get 5 or 6 people to show up for a special meeting.
Yeah, I think we've had special meetings before. We only need 5.
As it was said, he had the audacity, after eternity, he was Brad was gonna be the goal too. He actually had the audacity to come over and interrupt my meeting with somebody that I brought down to tell me, what is it that you need for fences? And he goes, I'm willing to pay for it now. Yeah, so you had an opportunity to sign your name on the dotted line, stand up. And then he goes, I don't want it to be screened off because my office is over there and I want to be able to visualize it. That's the kind of individual we're talking to now. I didn't even say anything to him. I just wanted to look. And I'll just, okay, I'm out of here. And turn around and left. So I don't know what I look like. I must have given him
Okay.
Hey, Len, don't forget that we haven't gone to that parking lot, 27 Market.
Good night.
We haven't gone for the planning commission or anything, so we're out
Oh, are we out of
of
compliance?
compliance ourselves.
Can't have a surface level parking lot and create a new
Right.
surface level parking lot.
So do we have to do that first?
No, it would be more expensive or something, right? You know, technically, what we did with the transit hub, like we did with the South Line, we should go through the process and not just kind of say, screw it, we're the city, we don't follow our own, you know. To the extent, we've been saying it's temporary,
and then we can come back for a special meeting to extend for 30 days so that we can go through the planning commission. But I don't want the pressure put on these people until we get a deal done. Only, you ever met him before? I don't know, I've heard his name multiple times.
he doesn't know anything necessarily. Well, it's told me that he said, oh, I'll just take my trash and put it on the steps of City Hall. Take it away.
So, we need to keep the pressure on them, let's get the deal done, and then we can extend for 30 days, and then we'll go through the planning commission. So
Extend the
do we have to
current.
go through the historic preservation too?
Oh, gee, do
I'm
we?
looking at that with John and see, but I mean, the planning commission, I don't know how they can possibly approve a parking lot, it's just. So. Granted, all those cars can easily move across the street and get there, it's fine, it's Judy's picture.
maybe not bring that up. Maybe let the planning commission figure it out.
Yeah, maybe less than.
We won't hire John Canis, whatever.
It's just that, how much headache do you want, Greg? I mean.
Yeah, really.
But thank you for spearheading it, Len, I appreciate it.
So on a digital signs rental, probably the most economical way about that is to have a tent. To get to IP65.
Scott, just want to say, if for some reason you come up with anything
But is it certified outside? It's just have to be out there. And it's on private hall or something, good job.
But, so would we just call it quits then and then negotiate?
Unless, no, I mean, if somebody still wants to come through even after the date, we'll work with them. That's, but, I mean, come on. Since 2017, this is the first time he's come out. You know what I'm saying? If Logan's wants to do it, great, I'll contract with Logan's, and Logan's company can, you know, whenever he can go to Logan's, can be customers. But, you know, Casella just wants to be jerks.
Yeah, they do. So
They think we're gonna quit. That's why I tried to tell Brian, okay, if somebody wants to bring it up here tonight, you don't have 5 votes.
We don't do.
You're gonna have an unanimous vote that we're not gonna lift it. And once you do that kind of vote, as far as I'm concerned, I'll bring it up at half.
Yeah, exactly, I know, and then be done with that, yeah.
So if Don would've brought his thing up, it would've been.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, there's 4 right there that say no.
Absolutely, I know.
5, whenever I said.
Wherever you.
It's just confusing.
It would have been
Somebody who's-
5 to maybe 3 at best.
Or if we went to 4-4, you wouldn't have tiebreaker.
Right.
Till it just dies.
But that's true, planning commission, landmarks and historic preservation. Oh, for God's sake. I want to watch
No, again, they don't
right
have,
now.
they don't have a limit, so you can't fight outside.
I want to help them
There's a
out.
screen that
They
goes
have to help
around.
themselves.
And that's the problem,
And they're not, when you see they're not coming to the table, then you know what, too bad, so sad, we're done.
Did you see everybody's face when he said he was working on
Like an
this in
LED wall,
2017?
right?
Because now he's switching all into the vendor.
Yes, I know.
2017, so 10 years. 10 years.
But actually, I
Well,
think
then they had a free ride for 10
Yeah,
years.
well, they've had a free ride.
Well,
since
for
the-
longer than that.
Longer than that, but yeah, for 10 years, they started working on this.
Well, I'm on the feel sorry because of all the construction and blah, 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 but we all need to get over it. Nobody pays for your trash or my trash.
And that's what I was just saying. Oh, like, or Saloons or Subaru or, you know,
Yeah.
Bell, you know, mine, yours, like, I follow the rules. I
Yeah,
can figure out
we
where
do
to put
too.
my garbage. Not that I want it in my backyard, but I put it in my backyard and I pull it up front.
And when I take it.
Yeah, I mean, long
myself,
term,
so-
yeah.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do, you know, then we can be done. with it.
And I know where you're coming from, but that's, and I don't mean to be harsh.
No,
but
I know.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, we've been doing this for the 4
And you,
years.
right, you guys have
7
been.
years.
Yeah.
I've said.
Mhm.
It was more, you know.
Sorry for being.
So- No, you're good. You know, we came to the table, we tried.
Well, then, you know what, if they're not gonna come to the table,
Yeah, that's
you know,
what
we'll be done with it. And not bring it up again, there's too many other things that we need to move on and do.
So, and Dane's still gonna be mayor, I don't know why we keep bringing it up, at this point, we kind of voted, it's just, it is what it is, and move on.
Yeah, it really, that's how I feel, move on, we have to be done with it, because it's only gonna turn out, if we have anything to do with a headache for us, for the city. It's gonna work for all of them. Because Chris Yakuji, he's very conscientious, he will be checking it, I just know him.
Oh,
And,
Either
she does her codes, they got their stuff.
exactly, that's why.
And she has.
We can take multiple monitors and put them together, so no bezel, right? None of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so then they're right together, and we can create a wall
But we
outside.
don't answer her.
Then we only have to contend with
She has to be professional.
Yeah, what do we do to
If she can't,
the
then she
sun
can't.
so that we can see it?
I agree.
Because Omni, you could probably look at the. There you go.
Especially
So,
when
right, so
they're
that would be
not
deep
coming
inside, so
together
we're not
to
worried
help
about the weather.
themselves. It's only a handful of people, but what's everybody else gonna do? They're gonna have to follow the code or be
I guess not
fined.
worse.
You know what? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you leave your garage
Yeah.
out in front of your house, your totes, I can guarantee you, you're gonna
Oh,
get a
okay.
ticket.
Yeah, no, you can
They'll
see,
come looking
I
for
mean,
me.
yeah, instantly, I
So-
could actually start hearing the noises.
No,
or
I get
something.
it.
I was like, oh, okay, and so as soon as I turned the corner, no, I could see it.
It's
That
not
was
the
good.
nonsense of how busy.
Yeah, maybe the
I walk
stage
in
create
here
a
every
video
day.
wall, because the technology's there to create all that.
When is back in John's office,
Omni signs.
and you're laughing at TV, and you're sitting there, and not getting
Yeah,
out.
we could create a video wall.
Tell me how.
He claims that he is.
He's not. He is.
Develop traction, right, so low cost to get in, the more teams in, and then you can say, okay,
He's not at all.
let's go.
He is not.
Then you can justify that, track it for a year or two.
It's a joke.
Get here, we're gonna do it. Rent it,
I'll
do
tell you,
it. Sign final, final, it's like.
I just noticed, even before council, I've been after, judges over on Elm Street. It was between.
They're never been the high school, right?
Of the property manager,
They got it
finally
too.
got back to the property.
Oh,
owner.
she
Yeah,
really-
I don't know what to do, how to do it. All of a sudden, it's done, it's gone,
Right,
it's over
third.
with.
The
You
best we've
can't
ever
see,
done
it's all
is
screened
1930.
in,
That's what I
it's
like.
behind the building,
She's been-
nothing's out front, you don't see it from the right of way.
Yeah, so for $5,000, you can put a video
At least you,
together
at least you
in our trail.
listen, because I kept having them all the time, I could turn them in, I don't know.
All the
how many
monitors you
different
want.
times. The code,
Put
I,
them
they
together.
did get out there and do something, but they weren't forceful
Connect it
enough.
together. I mean, I could have a quick conversation with them and say, hey, I want to.
Because I would take pictures, so I knew kind of what was and what wasn't, and complaints from the people who lived up above that, you know.
And then you could take the trail.
Silts and treasures, so.
There's sporting events up there.
They did
movie
it.
night, maybe
Just,
on
oh
the
my God, Water Street, so nice, after all
Yeah,
that
that's-
watch, I didn't get a chance to go, but that does not need to look like the back alley in,
Right, because if it's calling.
Boston.
Yeah.
When my son
Like,
was out in Boston, trash it, rats running like you would not believe.
talk to.
Yeah,
That's enforcement.
Exactly.
And they're not doing it.
No, they're not, he keeps bringing it up, are they listening?
Oh, yeah, listen.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
So.
Right, how quickly, 'cause it's Friday,
It's a
yeah.
nice
I mean, this Friday's,
presentation.
next Thursday, we're good, we got 10 o'clock, we can do that.
That's- Okay, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'll see you guys later,
Good
thanks.
night.
See ya.
Hello.
And we don't know.
Good, how are you? How's your,
Find the stuff and hoping, or
Right.
find another use for it, which.
Right.
If it works, yeah, you can show.
Yeah. We use the stage to, the next thing we use for movies or else. Does he have it here? Hey,